The water tastes of stone. Old Hand kneels, his reflection a broken mask on the stream's troubled surface. He dips his fingers in, brings them to his lips again. It is not the clean, cold taste of snowmelt he has known for 60 winters. It is bitter, sick. A few paces downstream, the silver bodies of fish lie still in the shallows, their gills unmoving. The stream is a vein, and he knows it flows from the heart of their world, the great mountain. For generations, it has given them life. Now, he feels a deep, cellular certainty that it is beginning to offer them death. He stuns. The ache in his knees a familiar companion. Then looks up. The peak is serene against the endless blue, a silent god of rock and ice. But the birds that once nested on its high cliffs are gone. He returns to the camp. A small clearing of trampled earth and fire-scarred rock that has been home to his people for a time beyond memory. The sounds are of life, of a world that believes in its own permanence. The young ones chase each other with shrieks of laughter, their small bodies dark against the green expanse of the valley. Women are grinding tubers, their movements are rhythmic, ancient percussion. The hunters are returning, their loping gait a testament to a successful pursuit. This is the clan of Homo erectus, masters of this small Eden. Their lives governed by the sun, the seasons, and the steady pulse of the mountain. In the long story of human evolution, this is a moment of profound stability, a sanctuary carved from a violent world. He approaches the lead hunter, a young bull named Spear, who is laying a small deer by the central fire pit. Spear grunts in greeting, his face smeared with the pride of the kill. Old Hand ignores the offering. He points a gnarled finger toward the stream, then to his mouth, and makes a face of disgust. He scoops up a handful of earth and lets it tremble in his palm, mimicking a faint shiver he felt in the rock at dawn. He is trying to articulate a danger that has no name. He is trying to describe the future. Spear looks at the deer, its lifeblood still warm, then back at the old man. He sees only a kill, a full belly, the safety of now. The fears of the old are like shadows. They vanish in the high sun. He pats Old Hand on the shoulder, a gesture of placating dismissal, and turns to the more pressing task of butchering the meat. The clan sees the exchange. They see a provider, and they see a worried elder. Their choice is simple. Their bellies guide them. Later, as the fire spits and dances, casting giants on the cave walls, Old Hand feels it again, a low thrum, deep in the bedrock, a vibration that climbs through his bones. The others feel it too, a momentary shudder. A child whimpers, but then it is gone. A large beast. They murmur, passing far away, but Old Hand knows the truth. The tremors, the poison water, the silent birds, they are not separate events. They are syllables in a language of catastrophe. Their belief system, a form of primal animism, has always taught that the mountain is a living spirit, a benevolent parent. He now understands, with a chilling clarity that isolates him from his own kin, that a parent can also fall ill. It can sicken, it can rage, and it can die, taking its children with it. Days pass, each one a thread in a tightening knot of dread. The stream now runs grey, a slurry of ash that coats the stones in a film of grime. A smell, sharp and sulphurous, drifts down from the high slopes, catching in the back of the throat. The very air tastes of decay. The clan's life, once a predictable rhythm, becomes a series of hesitations. The hunters return with less game, reporting that the herds that once grazed the lower slopes are gone, vanished into the vastness of the plains. They are not being hunted. They are fleeing. This evidence, a blank space where life used to be, speaks louder than any of Old Hand's warnings. Still, the majority cling to the familiar. The fear of the unknown is a more immediate predator than the fear of a home that is slowly sickening. For these ancient humans, the world beyond their valley is not a place of opportunity, but an abyss filled with rival clans and beasts whose night calls they do not know. The argument comes to a head when the mountain speaks, not with a tremor, but with a deep, guttural roar that seems to rise from the planet's molten core. The clan stumbles outside their shelters to see the peak, their silent god, transformed. A column of black smoke, dense and churning, punches into the sky, blotting out the sun. It is not the white plume of a winter peak. It is a declaration of war. Panic ripples through the group. Some begin to wail. Swahoi. Thin sound of pure terror. Spear, however, remains defiant. He grabs his fine estate Yulin hand axe, a beautiful, symmetrical weapon of flint, and holds it aloft. He strikes a defiant posture, shouting at the peak as if it were a rival beast, a challenge to its dominance. To him, this is the mountain's raid, and it must be met with their own strength, their own refusal to yield the land that has forged them. Old Hand sees that words are finished. He moves through the chaos, his touch a silent question. He goes to his daughter, Swiftwater, whose own child coughs from the tainted air. He looks at two young hunters who have always listened to his stories of the world that was. He does not come out. He simply gathers his small bundle of skins and flint, knapping tools, and begins to walk. It is the ultimate choice. Follow the madman into the void, or stay with the leader who promises to face down God. For a long, terrible moment, no one moves. Then, Swiftwater EFTs her child onto her hip and follows her father. The two young hunters exchange a look, and with a shared nod, they fall in behind. One by one, a small collection of souls, less than a third of the clan, detaches from the paralyzed whole. A young boy tries to follow his friend, but his father grabs his arm, pulling him back into the fold of denial. The sundering is not clean. It is a tearing of flesh. The community fractures, not with a crack, but with a rending of sinew and bone. There is no time for goodbyes, only a final, agonizing look at the faces of kin who have chosen a different fate. They are no longer a clan, but two desperate ideas of survival. One, an anchor of stone. The other, a leaf in the wind. They do not run. They walk with the grim, determined pace of those who have already accepted loss. Every step takes them further from the only world they have ever known. Behind them, the pillar of smoke grows, a monstrous black tree punching through the roof of the sky. The air is electric, thick with a tension that makes the hairs on their arms stand up. Old Hand does not look back. His eyes are fixed on a distant notch in the hills, a gateway he has only ever seen from the highest ridge of their valley. It is a ghost of a memory, a faint line in his internal cognitive map. A geography of survival passed down through generations in grunts and gestures. That map is all they have known. It is the only thing more real than the terror pursuing them. Then, the world ends. It begins not with a sound, but with silence. A sudden, absolute cessation of all noise, as if the planet is holding its breath. And then, a light brighter than 1,000 suns flashes behind them, painting their elongated shadows on the rocks ahead. Before the sound can reach them, the ground heaves, a violent, convulsive wave that throws them from their feet. The sound that follows is not a roar. It is the physical tearing of creation. It is a noise so profound, so impossibly loud, that it is felt more than heard. A pressure wave that rips through their bodies and seems to liquefy the very marrow in their bones. Swiftwater curls around her child, a shield of flesh against the apocalypse. The young hunters press themselves into the dirt, their hands clamped over their ears in a futile gesture. When they dare to look up, the great mountain is gone. In its place is a cauldron of fire and a sky turned incandescent red. A vast, churning cloud, a pyroclastic flow of incandescent death, is boiling over the valley rim, consuming everything they have ever known in a silent, ravenous way. They watch the place of their birth, the graves of their ancestors, the faces of their kin, all erased from existence in a heartbeat. There is no grief, not yet. There is only a stunned, enemy low. The shockwave hits them moments later, not as a blast of heat, but as a hurricane of superheated wind and stinging grit that scours the land. It flattens the tough grasses and shreds the leaves from the thorn trees. Then comes the ray, not of water, but of grey, gritty ash, falling in a thick, suffocating curtain. The sun vanishes. Day becomes a perpetual, starless twilight. A deep, unnatural cold begins to set in. The first chill of a long volcanic winter. They are alive, but they are adrift in a new, alien world. A world without landmarks. The world of grey monochrome. A world where the very air is an enemy. Old Han gets to his feet, his body a symphony of pain. He pulls his daughter up. He rallies the hunters. He looks at their faces, masks of ashen terror, and sees the flicker of a question. Why did we survive? He has no answer. He only knows that they must move. He must lead his ghosts through this empire of ash. To remember is to carry a fire. Cast your mark upon the stone below, and join the long memory of our kind. We pull back from the small band of survivors. Their footprints, the first marks on a world reborn in grey. Their survival was not a victory, but the beginning of a new and terrible epoch. The eruption they witnessed was a planetary reset button, a genetic bottleneck for human evolution. Across the globe, populations of ancient humans would have been decimated by the years of darkness and cold, their complex societies reduced to shivering bands of refugees. The story of hominid history is punctuated by such events, moments where the vast majority perished, leaving only the lucky, the resilient, and the clever to carry our lineage forward. Their struggle is now encoded in our biology, the foresight of Old Han, the altruism of swift water, the cooperative strength of the hunters. These were not virtues. They were survival traits, selected for by the harshest judge of all, a dying world. The instinct that makes you look uneasily at a darkening sky, the deep-seated need for community in a crisis, the ability to plan for a future you cannot see. These are the echoes of their footsteps in the ash. They survived, and because they did, we are here, haunted by the memory of a sky that burned. I am the chronicler. We are not defined by the heavens we pray to, but by the hells we survive together. But what happens when the monster is not the mountain, but the one walking beside you?